Welcome to the darkness of Blighted Heart's solo D&D adventure. My name is Trevor and I wrote the story, so if you don't like it, you know who to send strongly worded emails to. My wife Megan and I run Emberglow Gaming together along with a ragtag group of dice gremlins, and we get to create cool tabletop story paraphernalia like this advent calendar. This is a story based on Norse Viking mythology, which I have loved ever since I was a kid. If you've never read any Norse legends before, they are strange and beautiful and fascinating and totally worth a read. For our story, though, you'll get to fill the boots of a Viking being called upon by Odin and Frigga, the All-Father and All-Mother, and you're going to help save Yggdrasil, the great world tree that supports the 9 realms of creation in Norse mythology. Well, this is a choose-your-own-path story where sometimes you get to decide what happens in the story and sometimes we let the dice decide. It's designed to be played over the 24 days of the Advent season, so that's December 1st to December 24th, but honestly, you can play whenever and at whatever pace that you would like to. The dice rolling and the player choices are loosely based on D&D rules, so if you've played Dungeons & Dragons before, this is going to feel like familiar territory. But if you have never played D&D in your life, it's all very intuitive, so you can still play and hopefully really enjoy it as well. We're going to be using a standard set of 7 tabletop role-playing game dice. If you follow along with the story using your advent calendar, you'll always have the dice you need to take the next step in your adventure. Each day we'll have instructions on what dice to roll and what those numbers mean. Often that will mean you'll roll a d20 to represent attempting to do something in the story. You'll put that number into the story with the idea of equaling or exceeding a difficulty class for that action that you're attempting. So if your prompt says, roll a d20 to try to pet the angry badger, you'll roll a d20 and then enter the results into the story. That roll gets compared with the difficulty class number that I've assigned as the author, representing how hard it is to pet this angry badger in the story. You usually won't know what the difficulty class or DC number is that you need to meet or beat in order to succeed, but that's part of the adventure. But generally speaking, a DC of 10 or below is pretty easy for the average person. A DC of 15 is fairly difficult, and a DC of 20 is well nigh impossible. Along the way, you'll also often gain dice and other advantages to your inspiration pool as part of the story. These are resources and blessings which you can call upon when a roll doesn't go your way. You're going to track those resources using the Journal of Blighted Hearts card that will be included with your advent calendar. Anytime you're prompted to make any kind of roll, you are allowed to choose any number of dice from this inspiration pool, roll them, and add the total to that roll in order to succeed. But once those dice are used, you can't use them again for this story. You'll have to weigh whether you should save your dice for later or whether this roll is worth succeeding at without knowing what will happen either way. That's part of the fun. So in our badger example, let's say I rolled a d20 and I got a 3, but I think petting this badger is really important. I'm going to go to my inspiration pool and get, for example, a d10 that was already there. I'll roll that d10 and add the result from that die to my original 3 from the d20 to see that if I can manage to pet this badger. But now that I've used that d10, I can't put it back in my inspiration pool. It's gone and lost forever. Okay, last thing, I promise. You will likely fail a d20 roll at some point in your story, and that's okay. Most failures won't end your journey, especially early in the story. You might miss out on adding a die to your inspiration pool, or you might get sent down a different story path than you were hoping. But as with Dungeons & Dragons, those failures will often make your story more interesting. If your story does end prematurely, that's okay. We encourage you to go back to the very beginning and try from there. Very likely you'll get a totally different story when you do. You're welcome to try it as many times as you like, whether you succeed or fail. I am so excited for you to get to dive into this adventure with us. We have put a lot of love into it over the past 6 months, and we really hope it can draw you into the world of tabletop role-playing and storytelling as a group, and give you a chance to enjoy some of the dice and accessories that come with your advent calendar. Good luck out there, adventurer.